Hello and welcome to the Isuzu Ute A-League download, episode 13. Thomas Sorensen, Archie Thompson
Maxi.
with me. Like, there's no time for pleasantries because there were 700 games in the A-League this week. And the test is, can any of us remember any of them? Here are the results, if you'd like to know. This is chronologically, this is what happened through the week. Adelaide won at Macarthur. They win away from home. They're good, aren't they? Then Melbourne City beat Western United. Pretty straightforward. Brisbane lost again. Then Perth lost again. Then there was the amazing game between Melbourne Victory and Western United, which we'll start with. Then Adelaide went away and won in Wellington, who aren't as good as everyone suggested they might be. Then Brisbane lost again. It's nice to have the constants in life. Then Sydney beat Central Coast. Then Perth won a football match.
Yes.
Wow. I was genuinely...
You should have a moment of celebration.
Yeah. Or a moment of silence.
No.
You want a minute's applause? A minute's applause for Perth Glory. I was so genuinely delighted for them. Then Macarthur won 3-1 at Newcastle Jets. They're all the games. Let's start. We're sort of going to jump around, but hopefully put the teams together so that it feels like there's some sort of order to this nonsense. But, thank you for watching whatever we do. Let's start with Melbourne Victory, Western United, because, it's sort of mad that Western United have done this twice.
Yeah.
In 3 games, right? Because there was the Melbourne City game, which we'll talk about in a second. But the end to that game, Thomas, is just ludicrous.
Yeah, fantastic. And I think... everything that's happening, you can see the belief in the players, and they keep going to the last minute. Some great goals, from either side. They were threatening. Duncan had a couple of great saves.
Amazing saves.
Yeah. So again, they were threatening, but again, Dansaki, that last goal, he gets in a one-on-one. You can see the belief. And then Ibisuki, what he does best, just popping up in the box. So John Aloisi, hats off, playing young players. Wallity, that counter-attack was well set up. So again, players are playing with confidence, and when you are, then anything can happen.
Can you remember your best ever injury time moment?
It was against Melbourne Heart.
Melbourne. Thankfully, it wasn't against me.
It was the old Melbourne City, which was called Melbourne Heart. I think it was just before Christmas, 93rd minute winner.
Okay. You scored it?
Yes.
Okay.
So that was.
Do we have that do we own the rights to those tapes?
Yeah,
do they exist?
Yeah, no, it's a good one to watch.
Good goal,
they always sort of bring it out around this sort of. Around Christmas time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's a good. Yeah.
Is it sort of like Home Alone for Australia?
Yeah.
It's Christmas, everybody. Let's watch Archie Thompson's 93rd minute winner.
It is. Yeah.
Okay. Talk me through the goal.
It was Adama Traore actually that intercepted a ball out wide. That maybe if he didn't, there was an opportunity that Melbourne Heart would have maybe had an attempt on goal. But then we streaked forward. Marco Rojas got onto the ball. I pointed to a direction on where I want the ball. Got played one touch, dinked it over the keeper. And as his bait was on the line and... Couldn't get it.
Shirt off.
Started swinging it around. Went to the Melbourne Heart fan who said, "You're offside." And I immediately thought... there was a moment where I turned around to see because... You don't want to be caught like that. And then, and it was. And I went back to him and said a few niceties and then we went on. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you? What? Best last minute? I guess different for a keeper, right? Because you're in a team that win in the last minute. I know you're sort of out of it, aren't you? You're like back there trying to celebrate with and everyone's like, but there must be a game that sticks in your mind or not.
No, again, I think that there's a few, but my first game in the A-League away to Sydney FC, because there was a fair bit of, the fans weren't happy because the keeper, Valapi, was there and had done well. And then I came in
stole his place. Who's this?
Yeah, and who's this? We don't need an old foreign, who just want to come and retire, and so there was a bit of, pressure, and we were away to Sydney, and I think last minute they had a chance free, and then I blocked it. So then I sort of at least got a few claps. Again, it's there's pressure at the end of games, and sometimes you are, you're conceding, and other times you're the hero.
There were some great goals, like you said.
I
thought the move for Western United's second goal it felt quite Ange Ball to me. That, the way West United, I don't know if you can remember this
Oh,
one.
the one
they
that
play out, comes down the right.
Yeah.
It's such a, is it one of two finishes it? It's a brilliant goal.
There was some really good footballing goals. I actually, that was brilliant. I think it was played out to Vickery, a young boy that got his first start. He was really good during the night. And Wallity made that late run in, was very quiet first half, second half came alive. That whole West United team came alive, to be honest. And then and it was a beautiful ball across, great finish. But even I thought the goal that Melbourne Victory got where they played it into Mashash, he does his usual bit, plays it out wide, and then it was a great finish. The goals were just unbelievable. And I was just speaking to one of the boys actually before, when I think it was Rollins came on for Mashash, and they were winning 3-2, and they went to a back 5, Melbourne Victory. I don't remember a time when we're winning 3-2 at home when we're thinking, okay, let's shut up shop.
Right.
I know there's game management, but to go back to a back 5 when I've never seen a Melbourne Victory play a back 5, and then all of a sudden we start to absorb, we start to bring on more pressure.
Yeah.
And then we concede, and then we concede again. But for me, that was probably one of the best games of the season in terms
and that
of
goal with Asani and Bruno Fionarola.
Love that.
Yes.
Because it comes from a Western United corner.
Yeah.
And the ball gets cleared, and Fionarola plays at Asani, and unselfishly, he could have had a shot and passes it back across, so. But I think it's a bit worrying for Melbourne Victory because is it 5 games now?
Yeah, 5.
And they deserved something in these 5 games. But they haven't had...
No, again, at the end of the day, you're judged by the results. And you look at that last goal, because they're sitting so deep, you invite those one-on-one situations. That's where Dan Saki, I don't know if it's Rolls, who he's up against.
Yeah, I think it might be Ross.
But like you just get in those one-on-one situations and then, you get punished. And Western United have had a bit of luck, but sometimes you got to, take your chances.
So do you fear for Arthur Dillis?
Well, with Melbourne Victory, I've kind of said since he's taken over, they haven't been bad. Like, they actually haven't been bad. But there's something missing. Like, it really is something missing. I think of when Paddy Gaznorbo was in charge of Melbourne Victory, they had something about them. Like, there was just, were playing really great, but then there was something that maybe Paddy Gaznorbo brought with his energy and his, like, the way that he manages. And like I said, it's maybe going to take a little bit of time for Dillis to kind of make that transition.
How do we get Dillis some edge? That's what we need. Does he need to bring someone in? Someone edgy?
Well, he's brought Nick Stavros in.
Does Stavros have edge?
He's another calm.
No, we need a sort of some sort of violent psychopath to come
but
in.
also, like, sometimes I feel it can be a little bit difficult to go from an assistant to, because you're that buffer between the manager. And I know PK. People are. You can sometimes be friendly, but you can also, there's a lot of respect. And then suddenly, like, I could understand that Dillis would have been that buffer and, the joker with the lads. And then suddenly you have to take a step back. That's a tough situation. And it changes the dynamic. And it would be interesting to see. It's going to take some time, as you said. They haven't been bad, but the results need to come at some point.
Yeah, but it's exactly like, your friends with a girl, and all of a sudden you want them to be a partner, and then you say to them, "Call me daddy," and like, call me daddy from being like friends. It's like there's got to be some kind of time in that relationship.
Yeah, that's a dangerous jump to make.
I don't know where it came from.
No. Yeah, but
you can understand
just
that's what Dillis should say. Just call me daddy.
But have you, just out of interest, have you ever genuinely, unironically said, "Call me daddy"?
My kids probably watch this. I'm not going to say anything.
I take your point. Very hard to get out of the friend zone.
Yes.
Into the love zone is what you're saying, and that's what Arthur Dillis needs to do, doesn't he? Just stand on the touchline saying, "Call me daddy." Before that, Western United lost 2-0 at Melbourne City. This was on Tuesday evening. Actually, the nicest thing out of this was seeing Ben Mazzea, right? he'd been out for a long time. I didn't know this, but that lovely moment he celebrates with his family and his mates. It's a beautiful moment.
It's his brother's birthday as well. You know, so you know, it's a great story, and like we should maybe rename it to Academy City, because you know the youngsters they're bringing through
9 graduates featured in
Lawrence
this game.
Wong in that game played well. Suleimani, you know, Ramani, you know, so they and now you know Metzi is there as well. So they you know, really surprising, because for me I thought, you know, with all those stars out, experienced players, you know, it could have been Struggle United, and they haven't. So fair play to the young players. Ugakovic, I think, has been a leader for them. You know, so there's a lot of bright spots on top of the league. Like, I wouldn't have seen it, and fair play to the whole staff and everyone there.
Yeah, and Mazzei scores a brilliant header against Brisbane as well, doesn't he?
Yes.
That was
Hey, talk us through that, because for me, he's a small lad, and then like, he's going away from home to generate.
There's no pace on that ball.
No,
Is there?
unbelievable.
Well, I mean, even the goal against Western United, he was the one that leaped and headed it, and it came off the post, and I think it was Harry Politidis that scored that one. And then again against Brisbane, I mean, when you look at him, he's actually not the biggest of players, and to have that leap and find himself in some space, I think there's got to be maybe some questions asked about the defence. But again, you talk about Melbourne City and their youth academy, and we were talking about it during the game, is that they've got someone like Alessandro Diamante, who is the coach of the academy team. And I feel like what he brings to that academy team and what he teaches the kids, because what I've heard is that like he really trains them hard and focuses those players ready to be for that first team. So every time that they've been called up, they're straight into the 11 or into the squad, and they really don't look out of place at all. And usually when a 17 or a 18, 19-year-old comes into a squad, it might take a little bit of time. But no, I think that Lawrence Wong, like you said, I thought he was brilliant the time that he was on. And he hasn't played any football, and then all of a sudden he plays 50 minutes. Like, just
yeah, but I think what he's done, Diamante, is, and I spoke to him probably 6 months ago, but he was trying to introduce that European cutthroat, you know, mentality of
the edge, the edge that Dillis is looking for. Diamante has it.
You know, like that. You know, it's a serious business, and it's a cutthroat business, and you know, you need to really work on your game, and you know, you can't take days off, and all these, like, which is in some instances, it's for some people it's what you do, but for, you know, I think I found in an Australian environment where, you know, the competition is not that hard at a youth level, and some players just dilly-dally through because they've got talent, you know, where he's given them high standards to live up to, and I think you can see that now when young players are coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
They're unbeaten in 7. Brisbane are not unbeaten in 7. I guess they might have been thinking in this game, the longer it went on, even though, like, Melbourne City had so many chances to just think, we could just hang in there. But there's not a lot else you can say, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I've watched a few games over the weekend, and there's been, I don't know, Thomas, you've got to maybe make me understand this a little bit, is that, you know, when a team's a goal down, we're going to probably touch on the Newcastle game, but I've seen it there too when they were down a goal at Macarthur. And I know there's build up and there's patience, and you want to try to, but there's got to be
get it in the mixer, is what you're saying.
There's got to be some point where you got to go, we're a goal down, there's not much time out, we got to start lifting the intensity, we got to start moving the ball. And with Brisbane, I just felt like they were just quite happy keeping possession, but not doing anything with it when they're a goal down. Change it up by, like, I know they haven't got the players. They probably haven't got someone that's really quick, or really stretch the line in Waddingham, that's obviously looking like he's going to go overseas. But try something different. Maybe play some balls in behind. Maybe just get some balls into the 18-yard box, or just try to win second balls or something. But it just looked like they were happy keeping possession without doing anything. And that was frustrating for me, for Brisbane.
Yeah, and ultimately it's, you know, it's about winning games, and you have to adjust. And, you know, it's great to have a philosophy. It's great to have a certain way of playing. But again, you know, at some point, like, you got to try something different, high press, you know, a bit more direct, long ball, you know, just to try to get it into the opposition's half. And then if you win a ball there, you know, you see how many times teams get caught out by trying to play out or trying to, So and that's what Melbourne City want to do is to play from the back, and so we'll see what happens up there. But it seems like at least there's backing there. So but they need a win.
They do.
Interesting rumours about Waddingham.
Yes.
Aren't there? Because you sort of think, I'm just trying to think, he's rumoured to be going to Portsmouth.
Yeah.
So, at least he's got experience of being right down the bottom of the league with Brisbane, because they are...
Come on. That's not fair.
Well, they're not in the relegation zone, Portsmouth, in the Championship, right?
It's not the experience you want.
No. But I think it's a really interesting move, because the Championship's a really tough league.
It is.
And we've talked about his potential, and you can see he's got the potential. There is no way of knowing, is there? Until you get there and you go and you get a run of games, because he's really young, and there's always you just don't know. I mean, I'm fearful that it might be a bit like a year early or something, but he might prove me wrong, and I hope he does.
Yeah, again, I think with those young players, the chance of it, I think, succeeding all hinges on the mentality of the player, and obviously, you need to have talent, but you need to be able to go into an environment where you'll get bruised and battered. You won't get a comforting arm around you. People expect him to at least hit the ground running, and that's the challenge all the time, and that's why a lot of players don't succeed is that they find themselves in a bit of darkness, and they can't come back from it. So
And it's just hard being a young person.
I don't think for me he hasn't done enough here. I would love him to stay here for 1 or 2 more years and really cement himself, become one of the best strikers in the league, and then threatening Socceroos and then you go. But fair play to him if there's a bit of money, whatever involved, and people in his ear. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, actually, the thing is,
and Brisbane might want to cash in. I don't know what they're getting.
The Championship's a great standard of football as well. You can't say no. It's really hard to say no to that. I hear what you're saying.
But you also need to be, you need to be a developed player, because again, the defenders there, first of all, physically they're very, very good, and they're also, a lot of them are more or less Premier League standard. So you're not going to get an easy ride.
Let's go to Wellington. Adelaide won 2-1 there. With that win and their other win against Macarthur, what's that? 6 wins on the road this season. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a record for Adelaide United, and if it wasn't for the City win, they'd be sitting top of the table. And it wasn't probably the slickest of performances for Adelaide United, but they just seemed to find a way of winning games. And again, it was Luka Jovanovic who came off the bench. It was a mistake by the goalkeeper. But
I think I would have caught that.
Yeah,
I think I would have caught it.
Yeah,
I know he bounces.
I think he would have.
I know he bounces it off his teammate's head or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's made some really good saves.
Yes.
Yeah. He's got a streaky keeper, isn't he?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and again, he you go back to the first Auckland derby, and he passed that ball out and they lost. So it's cost some points this season, but if Wellington just can't get out of their own way.
Yeah.
They made some bad mistakes in this game.
Is Chiefy under pressure?
Oh,
I feel like he's never under pressure. I don't know.
But you can question it.
Yeah.
I think you can question some of the tactics, and we talked about last week where he felt like he was overthinking things, and but again, if he hasn't got maybe on pen and paper the best squad in the league. But sometimes making mistakes. We see it week in and week out. Cost you games.
Yeah, and he's got a few big sort of injury issues with his squad, so he's had to really sort of
but
try
it's
to
a common theme around the league. You just got to cope with it. You can't really put up excuses. But
I don't know if I agree with that, because I think injuries can derail a season. Yeah, and they're just boring to talk about. And you're right, you have to cope because you've got to put a team out. But you might just go, look, there are some seasons where you.
I hate when people put up excuses like, have a look at. Have a look at it. Oh, we got 7. You hear managers all the time. Oh, we got 7 players. Blah, blah, blah. But
it's true, though.
And we all feel for you, but it doesn't really. You still just gotta turn your mentality around and deal with the situation.
Yeah. Oh, you're hard, please.
I am. But
you've got to put a team out. You've got to try. But sometimes you lose your best player. That can be the difference between you winning a league or coming 6th or coming 7th or whatever. That can happen. It's just
Yeah.
not an interesting conversation.
No, but I will say it is for Wellington that they are missing some good players, and that probably has made them struggle a little bit this year. And we talked about those goals. I mean, the keeper mistake, an own goal.
Yeah, quite a funny own goal.
Yeah,
I think the nearest attacker was in Adelaide.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah,
You know,
I
like-
know.
Yeah, but also, sometimes when it's hit from short distance, it feel like he had enough time,
Sort his legs out.
sort his legs
Yeah.
out, and then there was also another one where I think it was Clough that got served. Like it was a defender out on the right. He passed it right into the middle.
Yes,
and
same
Clough-
player.
And actually, Adelaide made a good save.
Yes.
But again, so that's three times where they killed themselves.
Yeah, and they're missing also to a big player in Alex Rufer.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, he's suffering from some kind of fatigue or glandular fever, which I think they're hoping to get him back soon. But him in the centre of the park is so key for that team, and there just seemed to be such a disconnect from their defence to the attack and nothing in between. So hopefully they turn their season around. But for Adelaide United, I mean, they are humming along. They're doing really well, and they've got a big match this weekend against Melbourne Victory at Cooper Stadium, which I always love that fixture. So there's going to be a bit more bite to it. But yeah, Adelaide United just keep on keeping on.
Yeah. Because they'd beaten Macarthur, trying to get these games the right way around. 2-1, and they one down in the 80th minute. And actually, that header from Valère Germain is brilliant to put Macarthur one up. But then to score two late is so impressive.
And it's the subs that made a big difference. So the subs that are coming on for Adelaide, like the Cooley, I think was the one, the Cooley that got the penalty, and Luka Jovanovic, 2 goals in a row.
That finish.
That was.
I couldn't work out how he's wrapped his foot.
It's like spun. That spun out towards goal.
Do you think his feet are on the other way around to other
No,
people?
he put his boot opposite.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so
That's
it's
a
all
tactic, isn't it?
premeditated.
It's an unbelievable finish. You're watching that going, I don't know how many times I watched it going, I don't know how he's done it.
I was the same, because the way the ball came and he's kind of had to hit it, it would have looked like it would have gone away from goal, but somehow it swirled in.
Yeah.
And it was a great finish.
Yeah, and fair play to him, because he came in with a lot of hoorah this season. Now he's going to start, and he was going to be the next young thing, and has struggled a bit. He was kept out of the team for a while, but fair play. He's taken his chance. Kept his head down, and that's a good lesson for young players. Just keep working at it.
Yeah, and 2 winners.
Yeah.
He's come off the bench.
Yeah,
and scored 2
and
winners.
that's sometimes the chance. You get 10 minutes, you've got to make the most of it, and he's done that. Maybe he's earned his spot at the top again.
It's like Norton in this show, isn't it? Sokolowski miss you. We gave him a chance and he was so good. And that energy. Come on back. Macarthur followed that up by winning in Newcastle 3-1. What did we make of this one? I'm trying to remember. That's why I've asked this open question. Can't remember. We'll remember in a
This is
second.
fresh for me because I just watched it
Cool,
yesterday. But I get Newcastle improving. That first half I thought was really good. Passing the ball well. Ben Gibson, another goal I think was he's doing really well.
Yeah, the pass from Clayton Taylor was great. That little dink, isn't it? 'Cause he's
And
got
that
to
was
put
a
bit of height on it.
deft touch at the speed he was going. It had to be perfect, and it was. The goal that they conceded was so soft, really, really soft. And a team that's improving all over the park defensively. I think Stanton, the manager, will be disappointed the way he conceded.
Yeah, wasn't there 2 or 3 players could have done something?
And the way that the ball just came across to Valère was so slow. It was like the guys were just watching it in slow motion. This ball go across, and then Valère was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, bang," and then that was kind of it. It just seemed like it took a little bit out of Newcastle's sail, and then Jed Drew
Again, yeah.
Man, he scores again. It was a tap in, but you still got to be there. And then
Bernardo,
Bernardo. I mean, he's another player that has been injured for a long time.
Yeah.
Come on, had an immediate impact. So I felt sorry for Newcastle. I tipped them because I thought that they are improving, and that's what I like about that Newcastle team is each week they just seem to get better and better. And Bayliss, Clayton, I think have been great. Gibson, so there's good signs for Newcastle. But Macarthur, they're showing some stuff. They're in the 6 now.
Yeah.
So.
Newcastle had one on Tuesday in Brisbane. And again, Aquilina, that pass is just, it's not the first time he's done it. It's such a great assist, isn't it? He just rolls it in.
Yeah, and he's been great for them.
Yes.
Like, he's been one of the highlights. Yeah, we can talk about, Eli Adams and some of the Baileys and Gibson, but he's been superb. And again, that win was immense, because that was sort of, that's where you can like make a break, and the negativity can creep in if you lose that one. And they just managed to get the draw. We're going to talk about the VAR moment with the ball that could have been over the line.
Yes.
I presume it wasn't over the line, right? Because
no.
Because a ball can look like it's over the line.
Yeah.
There was this huge, like last year when Arsenal played Newcastle at St James Park, and Arteta went, "It's a disgrace."
That was over though.
When it was like, but the point is like, and then they spent hours, like every show would spend 6 hours going, look, this is here. If you draw a line here, it looks like it's over the line. But if you look at it from the right, it's like, give us strength, right? Like, you've got to trust. You've got to trust that we did put a man on the moon, and that ball wasn't over the line. Yeah. And if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But it did look very close. That was a lovely effort. Wasn't it?
No, but again, I think they deserved it. So. So I get you. I think there's Stanton there. Has at least a lot of positives to look out for, and they'll. I don't think it'll make playoffs, but they'll be improving.
Yeah, I thought Brisbane were okay in this game.
Yes.
And I just thought
but they've been okay in a lot of games.
True,
but I thought that can't score.
That Aquilina moment was just like, that's the moment of quality that changes this game.
Yeah.
Just that one ball that's so perfect, and just Brisbane getting into areas, but just not being able to do that bit, which is quite an important part.
Yeah, and that's the goals.
Lucky Rose, is he sort of just trying to be Erling Haaland with his haircut? Like, can we talk about that haircut?
We can talk about
not a haircut, lacking of a haircut.
Right. You're unhappy with Lucky Rose's hair?
I don't know what it is. And Haaland, to be fair, I would love to see it like without the strap on. It would just be a. Like, he should play without any. I just let it flow around.
Yeah, okay.
He wouldn't be able to.
He's like a sort of Nordic god. Isn't he?
It's Erling Haaland.
Do you not like Haaland? Is it because he's a Norwegian?
And he's from Campbelltown. Yeah. Nordic god from Campbelltown.
But is the anti-Lucky Rose hair because you don't like Erling Haaland's hair? Because Erling Haaland's
know,
Norwegian,
maybe,
and obviously
maybe it's just because I can't grow it that long. No, I think I'm jealous.
Did you ever?
I'm jealous.
Did you ever grow?
I couldn't draw it. Like, I'm losing hair. That's my problem. Maybe
back in the day,
maybe it's me. Maybe it's me.
Let it go. I'd say to Lucky Rose, you have your hair how you want to have it.
To be fair, but great, because obviously he came from Macarthur, with a lot of.
Backtrack now.
No. I'm not criticising him as a player. Come on, but he's been injured. He hasn't had the impact that they were hoping for, and at least now we're seeing, he's getting goals and he's making an impact. So that's a big positive as well for Newcastle.
Yeah,
big wins for Sydney FC. They beat Perth Glory 3-0 on Wednesday. Followed up with a 4-1 win over Central Coast on Saturday. Hat-tricks for Segacic in the game on Saturday, for Joe Lolly in the week. That's a pretty good week.
He hasn't unfollowed you yet.
No, and actually, I'm not just saying this because now me and Joe Lolly are best friends. He's a great player, isn't he? Even in the game where Segacic scored the hat trick, I think he's just setting stuff up so well.
That first goal, like the cross to the back stick, and then it's he's just got a finger and everything. And to me, I don't know if you got somebody else, but he's the best player in the A-League at the moment.
Yeah,
for sure. Like the quality and the impact. Top of the goal scoring chart as well.
And he doesn't, because he's not a number 9, but actually the way, was it his hat-trick goal maybe? He's just in the perfect place. He's following up in that way. You go,
doesn't matter what position you play, it's about your impact. And he just seems to have an impact. I'm sure if we played him at right back, he would, he'll just be bombing on and having so that's, and the confidence, he's at the right place at the right time. Every run he makes, it just, and then, it's great for Sydney, especially with Costa out, he's definitely stepped up.
Yeah. That VAR handball penalty. Now, I'm not saying the decision is wrong because the laws of the game may dictate that.
Yeah.
But it is an out we should be taking to the streets with the laws of football. I don't believe any football fan thinks that should be a penalty. Now, we're being conditioned now because they're given so much, but if the ball's like half a yard away from you, there's nothing you can do. Just like sometimes it hits your hand.
Yeah.
This is one of my law changes.
Yeah,
There's
so
another
I agree
example
with
of another
that.
law
No.
change.
Free kick.
Give a free kick.
Yes,
now.
no, I
Like if you have to
totally
give
agree.
something, I wouldn't give anything. But if you
Yeah.
want to give something, a penalty is too big a punishment for that.
I think where this show is now, the impact we have.
I think you're right.
On Australian football.
Yeah.
I think
You watch.
I think
You
we
watch.
could start to force a rule change.
By next week, the laws will have changed, and Lucky Rose will have short back and sides.
I love it.
You know, but look, Lolly was great in that game, and then Segacic, because
Yes.
he missed a sitter just before he went on and scored a hat trick, right? Which is great.
Well, I mean, he's been outstanding for Sydney FC. Whatever role he's played, whether it's starting or coming off the bench, he just has an impact. Easy for a kid when you look at the game and the context of it when he misses to go inward.
And it's a sort of bad miss, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's sort of where are your feet? You just roll that wide. It's weird.
Yeah, and it went off like that
Yeah.
way when it should have gone that way. But
He put on Jovanovic's boots on the wrong way round, hadn't he?
yeah, clogs on. I don't know, but he
But he
was,
clogged the third. I mean, that was what hit.
That was such a great hit. I just don't know if I'm fully convinced that Sydney FC is.
As good as this.
I know there was a lot of hype on them at the start, and rightly so.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know if what I'm seeing is if that's enough, because they're.
So sorry, you think they should be doing better than this, or you just think there's actually the results are covering up the cracks of a sinking ship?
I wouldn't say sinking, but
Sydney are sinking, you've heard it here.
no, because when they're on song, they're just amazing to watch. I just don't know if it's
Something's missing.
just something's missing. Like it's usually with teams and games, they would run over the top of opposition, like really run.
And they've scored 7 and let him 1 in the last
Yeah,
two.
I know that, but there's been there's been moments where there's been goals that have just opened it up and then bang, 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 bang. But I think that teams have been really competitive against them, where I found before that they've rolled over. And maybe I'm just digging a hole that I can't get myself out of.
It sounds like it.
Like really, but I just know that that there's just something not there.
Yeah?
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
And that might be my Melbourne victory in me. And but
But I think you see that from a lot of teams. You can say the same about Victory, and that they've looked brilliant in a lot of phases of the game, but then conceded weird goals, and and I don't think there's been one team, like we've obviously praised Auckland a lot, but there's also been a few cracks, and so I think that's just the A-League. It's open, and there's not one.
It's such a real
dominant
positive,
team.
actually.
Yeah, I like it, and they're not the perfect side, but. I definitely think that they'll be there and thereabouts. I don't quite agree with the sinking ship.
No, I definitely.
I did put words in Archie's mouth.
I
to be
will
fair.
say though, like it's probably that I'm not seeing like a complete 90 minutes every single week. If I climbed out of there or not really?
I think so. Just do we credit Harry Steele with that Mariners goal? I mean, I have written here that I thought it was one of the worst goals in football history. It was okay. I was just
there's been some. That's maybe not fair,
It was a goal I would see.
He scored a goal. Was it last week or the week before? He's great header. So he's getting on the score.
But this one sort of bounced around. This is the sort of goal I would see in my games. It bounces around a few times. Someone heads it. It's like it's gone in really slowly.
Do you celebrate it though?
I score so rarely these days. I had, sort of 20. I'd say sort of 2010 to 2013, I had some great years of trying goal. And it's just
but couldn't that have gone down as an own goal? I don't know if it's on target, because it obviously gets hit. The defender is Matthews that flicks it over the keeper.
And that's really going straight to the keeper.
He wouldn't have scored.
I don't think anyone should take credit. I almost don't think it should be registered as a goal.
Okay, now I want to stop you with those rule changes. You were ahead with the other rule changes. Now you've got behind the A-ball.
We're involved. Everyone's involved. The league's involved. We should all be ashamed of that goal. Then Perth Glory on Saturday evening.
Go on.
Beat Auckland 1-0. Their first home win since February the 17th. 11 months between wins. Or between drinks, apparently an Australian phrase. But what a... Just so delighted.
And also, it comes from a strange angle with Jalen Pearman. He came in last week, great assist over the top. And then, scored a fantastic goal this week.
That ball is asking to be hit.
Yeah.
Just away, just off the ground, just off the bounce. But God, he catches that so well.
And they had a... you can't say that Auckland didn't have their chances. Oliver Sale made some good saves.
Yes.
They made some blocks as well. So they fought for it, and they had a disallowed a goal where, the heads could have dropped, but they stayed in the game, and I think it's great. Like I was watching the press conference afterwards, Drillage, and it was just so happy. You could just see, but normally he's like this, and you could just see he was, he's smiling at every question. It's great to see. He's gone through a lot and had obviously a tough time, and the visa players leaving and all sorts. So hopefully, they've turned the corner, because they have looked a lot better in the last couple of games, and the positives, and you can see some character in the team as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you flip back on some of the early episodes and me talking about Perth Glory, I was pretty harsh on what I was saying about them, but their football was showing what I was saying. And over the last month, their improvement has been unbelievable. Like that performance against West United, any other team have a bit of luck, they wouldn't lose that game. The performance against Auckland was great. They just look like a team that has some kind of identity on how they want to play, how they want to press, how they are when they have the ball, their patterns of play. They're actually getting, they're actually putting some passes together. They're not defending the whole 90 minutes. They're actually up in the faces of opposition. So look, I was so happy that they won that game. And the young boy, we watched the interview after the game, Human. His third match, his second start in a row, and the score, the winner. You could see how happy he was. Even the boys at halftime when they were walking off, they looked like they won the game. They were just laughing and joking. It was like it was
a real togetherness,
great.
wasn't there?
Yes.
Hurling their bodies in the way of shots. I just thought that was really brilliant.
Yes.
Obviously, Max Macarthur misses that chance, and I can't find an excuse.
They had plenty. Auckland had chances.
Yes.
But, again, they needed that little bit of luck. And what about that red card?
Well, it's another one of my rule changes, right? So Adriano Labib is running through.
Yeah.
This is another of my rule changes. Okay, then it's Adama Koulibaly, his debut, is it? He kicks him over. Fair enough. Yeah. That's the right
Very
thing to do.
deliberate, can you say?
Totally deliberate.
But
this is not me. This is the Paul Doyle rules. A guy who used to work for the Guardian. He's saying in that instance, it should be a penalty for Perth. So you don't send him off. You just say, okay, that's a goal scoring opportunity. You've denied a goal scoring opportunity, but I don't want to send you off because we want 11v11, but penalty.
Even if the foul's
Even if it's not in the box.
Okay, I like that idea actually.
Why not? Because then you are saying, because that punishment would fit the crime.
Yes.
Because you're that compared to whoever getting Sydney getting a penalty, that's stupid handball.
Yeah, but with this one, it's obviously straightforward. But there'll be a big grey area
There's always grey areas.
where is it deliberate? Is it a goal scoring? But yeah, like this one, then there's no question it was deliberate.
Yeah.
And, professional foul, maybe.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Give it a penalty. That's a really good idea. Auckland, what do we think?
I don't know about Auckland actually. They had a 10-day break. So maybe that was...
And the travel, I don't know, sometimes...
The travel.
I don't know what the temperatures were, but yeah.
Yeah, maybe that was a bit of a thing for them. Then losing Sakai to that concussion was a big loss for them because his leadership and quality going forward was big. So losing him so early on, I think disrupted that. But yeah, maybe just the trip, the 10 days off, going to Perth, it just might have been an off day where you can just have an off day. Like sometimes I roll in here, think I'm going to like
You're
this.
always on.
I'm going to like, no, that's been...
He walks in, he says, call me daddy. Yeah. And we're like, okay.
And say that...
No, but he flips the switch, he comes in and he's like, no, I don't think Archie's up to it. And then it's like, boom, he's just there.
Yeah, but you can have an off day. I'll just put that down to an off day.
We're sort of halfway through the season, all right? And so... The league is taking shape. You've got Melbourne City and Adelaide United both on 24. Auckland 1 point behind, but falling off a little bit. Macarthur, who I don't think we didn't necessarily expect to be in that 6. Western United, they've had these 2 amazing wins. Right? To actually get 2 wins out of the last 3.
Yeah.
In fact, they've been losing all the games going into injury time. It's pretty wild. Sydney FC have picked up a bit. Victory falling out of the 6, but in touch. is there anything you think, is there anyone in that 6 you think will go on a run, or anyone in the 6 who might drop out? Because from what I've seen is you sort of get a view on sides, and it's like we're saying, nobody's perfect. And then it can all change very quickly.
Yeah.
So like this table, you sort of think could change totally in the next. And also the window's opening, right? That does make a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that you can see there's teams, I think, that are in a good spot. They'll lose games, but, again, Melbourne City, when they get those players back, they'll have a selection issue because, these young players are doing great. I still think Victory will turn the corner. They've got enough in Sydney. I worry. We talked about Central Coast. I don't think they're just sitting there as 8th or 9th. And just can't get a goal. They just, you were hoping for them to start to elevate, but I just don't see any ignition coming from them. But it's going to be tight. This is what this league is. It's hard to predict. I don't think that you can see a 5-game winning team suddenly, because anyone can beat anyone, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
I was just looking at the fixtures for this weekend coming up, because another one of these where games are just happening all the time. What's your pick of the games? I mean, Auckland v Melbourne City is interesting. It's big, isn't it? You say Adelaide, Melbourne, Victory. Victory do really need, they've got to get something. Not necessarily from this game, but they've got to pick up.
Yeah, they need to break this mould they're in at the moment and get a win. And it's surprising, really, when you look at it. They haven't won a game in 5, and they're really just outside the 6. I mean, if they get themselves a win, they're back in the mix. But, going to Adelaide's not easy, but Adelaide haven't been really great at home. They've done well on the road, but just at home, maybe hitting a bit of a wall. I just feel like that there's probably a good 8 teams, I think, that can really push this back end of the season. I know it's a little bit early to say, but, I think Western Sydney, if they get a good result against Perth, I reckon that's probably the cut-off point.
Yeah.
So that Western Sydney up until the top. But like I said, anyone can go on a bit of a run and really
we
shake
saw
it
Western
up.
United go back 5 rounds or so. I mean, they were done and dusted, and then suddenly they.
It is probably the toughest.
Yeah.
I feel like season to pick a team that's going, okay, that's one.
Apart from Sydney FC are useless.
Yeah.
Apart from that.
The sinking shit.
Yeah.
Among the.
Yeah, it's hard.
All right, chaps. Well, I've had a nice time.
Fantastic.
Let's do it again next week.
Yep,
sure.
Beautiful.
Thanks for watching. See you later.